This is Gulliver and Sage. They're roommates. And this is their ranch hand Yucca. He is also a roommate sometimes. Yeah. So, anyway, this is Gulliver and Sage's home and it's not big enough for three, so let's get building. So who are these people? Well, I'll get to that in a second, but first let me explain what's happening with this build. I always give myself unnecessary rules. Just me, I don't say them out loud or anything or write them down or whatever. But every time I do a build, it seems like I just make up these rules in my head that I need to stick with. So one of these rules is that the new house needs to be built on the same lot as the old house was on, and that's fine because there's nothing wrong with this lot and it's actually pretty cool. Another rule is that I needed to build it entirely with whatever funds that my Sims made, so I had the goal of 100k and it took me forever to get there. So ultimately my Sims ended up making 102,082 simoleons that we could spend on this build. And that was before I destroyed their last home, so they actually ended up with 124,820 simoleons. Which, let me just tell you right now, it was more than enough. Now, originally it was just going to be a massive farmhouse for the both of them, or the three of them, and then maybe they could have a child down the track or something. I imagine they'd have a battle of the parents situation, which one has the better genes to have this science baby. But I digress, let's get back to the build. So this lot that we're on, it actually has two fake driveways leading into either side of it. So instead of having a massive farmhouse for the three of them, I figured let's have a double-story farmhouse for the both of them and then have a granny flat situation off the side because that for rent pack is coming up and I'm so excited, and I figured that we could have tenants move into that little granny flat. So yeah, that's what I'm building. So basically the front side of the block is going to be the access point for the 2 or 3 guys into their double-story home, and then the other side of the block that's accessed from the other driveway will be where the tenants can come in, so they kind of get their own little space. So after I was done building these 2 homes and then landscaping the lot and then furnishing just the double-story home, we actually were left up with 44,159 simoleons left. So there are currently 3 versions of this house on my gallery, and I'll leave my gallery name in the description for you. But basically, one of the versions is just a shell, so it has no furniture on the inside, but the outside is done. The second version of it is just with the double story done, and that was because I was trying to limit the amount of packs that were in the double story. And then the third version is just the entire thing is done, including the granny flat. I basically wanted the double story to have base pack, horse pack, and the cottage living pack, but as we went along, I wanted certain items, so it ended up also having the Desert Luxe kit, the greenhouse kit, the Blooming Rooms kit, and the Nifty Knitting kit. And that was hard enough, to be honest, but I wanted people to be able to use this house and not have to own every single pack that The Sims have ever released. I threw the limitations out of the window when it came to the granny flat though, so that's got, I don't know, so many things in it, mostly high school years stuff. And just a secret, between you and me, I actually like the granny flat better. But I didn't furnish it on camera because I originally just wasn't going to furnish it because I thought that would be annoying because then my Sims will want to go in there and start using that stuff instead of the stuff that I specifically put down in the double story for them. But then I locked the door and it was fine. So the final tour at the end, it will show you what the granny flat looks like now, but it's just not in the speed build. So the idea for the granny flat was that there's going to be a mum and a dad and also a teenage daughter. So you'll see the teenage daughter's room is a little messy, and the dad is also a championship bowler. So he's got trophies and bowling balls and stuff in the master bedroom that are being showed off in a trophy case. So just keep that in mind during the tour, otherwise it's super random. So after everything is built and furnished, we're left with 18,730 simoleons, which is just enough to cover the bills. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. The bills aren't too bad. Well, they're definitely not 18 grand bad, but they come in at about, I think, 4 grand now, whereas before it used to be 900 to 1,000, which is, it's a big jump, yeah. It's alright though, Sage is a musician and Gulliver's an astronaut, so I'm sure that they will be able to afford it. I keep forgetting to include Yucca, but you guys know Yucca is a ranch hand. That's what he does for a job. He just comes here and takes care of things. But, they don't actually pay him because we do have the free services reward. So, yeah, he's just kind of around. I guess that they pay him in a different way. Also, side note, I don't know if Yucca is how you pronounce his name. It could be Yucca. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying Yucca because that's how I read it. But if it's something else, let me know. Which kind of brings me around to my next point. To be absolutely transparent, Sage and Yucca, they're just townies, so I didn't have anything to do with creating them or their aspirations or their jobs or whatever. Like, they just had that already. Gulliver, on the other hand, yeah, I had a lot of input with him. I mean, not so much his name or anything, but Gulliver is a part of my Dubois family, which is my generational family. So I have played a lot with his mum. His mum is Journey, so if you watch my commune build, you would have seen Journey like planting trees and stuff. Yeah, so Gulliver is one of Journey's children. She actually has 4 children because she is a big flirt. So Gulliver's dad is different to 2 of his siblings' dad, and then obviously the other sibling too. There's like 3 dads in this family. Lots of meshing of genes. Journey's a big slag, that's what I'm trying to say. She is so much so that she has flirted with Sage. She's also flirted with the ranch hand. So, maybe she's trying to have more children. But basically, I was playing with his mum, Journey. She started autonomously flirting with like a bunch of different dudes. So I had a little bit of input on who Gulliver's dad was going to be at that point. But then I left. I left the household. I went to his sibling's household because his sibling is a global superstar. So he's way more fun to play with. So I was away while Gulliver was born. So I didn't get to choose his name or his initial traits or anything. In fact, I was actually away for most of his childhood. But there does come a point when I get like bored with playing a household for too long, and his brother Ernesto, the global superstar, he already had a family. He's got like teenagers now, and I was like, you know what, it's time to play with someone else. Let's go back to Journey. And we went back to Journey's household, and I saw Gulliver. He's all grown up. He was a young adult. I was like, oh wow, hello. He had a job and everything. I was like pretty proud, actually. But he's a young adult, and he didn't want to live with Journey anymore. Journey had way too many lovers in that house. His aspiration is to be a championship rider, and nobody in the Dubois family has any horses. So he took it upon himself to move out and just move in with some rando, and that rando happened to be Sage. And they got along really well. I mean, like, they started autonomously flirting. And the rest is history, or so they would say. Gulliver really discovered himself. When he moved here, he was like a little wimpy white kid, and now he has like muscles and wears crop tops. Oh, and I forgot the most important part. Sage taught him how to ride. Well, he taught him how to ride 2 things, but one of them was horses, and now he has a championship horse. It's worth like 20k. But amongst work and life and trying to make 100k for your dream home, life just gets a little busy, and so the horse was becoming neglected, so they needed a ranch hand. Enter Yucca. And he won the hearts of both of them, that sneaky little minx. It's hard to say who betrayed who first, but I think they all know about each other now, and they all get along pretty well. I haven't decided whether or not I want to add Yucca to my household, because I know when I do, then he won't be the ranch hand anymore, and it won't be like the ranch hand came in and swooped up these 2 guys story. But he already stays over like quite a bit, so I don't think it matters that much. I have included a bedroom in here for Yucca specifically because he doesn't share the bed with Gulliver and Sage. We're coming to the end of the build now, so the double story ends up having 3 bedrooms. The one upstairs with the little study area off of it, that's Gulliver and Sage's room. It's pretty colourful. There's another room downstairs, which I like to call the guest room, but we all know that's Yucca's room and where they spend some time together. Then there's a 3rd bedroom upstairs, and I've decorated it with a bassinet and a crib. Initially, what I had in mind for that room was that their niece and nephews are going to come stay over, so Gulliver's other sibling has quite young children. But then just to complicate the storyline, I thought, let's have a science baby and have these 2 dads, or 3 dads, raise a child. Downstairs, there's also a full bathroom, a dining room, a kitchen, and then a lounge seating room with the fireplace. And the rest of the space upstairs is taken up by like a TV area, and then there's like a knitting corner, which I knew that I wanted from the very beginning. Neither Sage or Gulliver knit, but I guess that they could just learn. And there's also a bathroom upstairs, and then outside is a little horse stable. It's really small actually. Like personally, if I had a horse it would definitely be bigger than that, but they have a paddock next to this lot, and so I am pretending like they also own this paddock, and the horse always goes out into the paddock by itself anyway. And then there's the little barbecue area and kind of like a tiny garden. I know I already briefly spoke about the granny flat, but inside there is a kitchen area as well as like a tiny mud room as soon as you come in. There's a back room that's just big enough to fit a little TV. There's also a study area. It's not like a designated room, but there's enough room for a desk. And then there's the 2 bedrooms and also a bathroom in there. So yeah, like I said, there's 3 versions of this on the gallery. So if you want it, then you have your pick. I just want to take a second to be a little sappy and say thanks so much for watching, and that I do really appreciate your view. If you liked it, then please hit the little thumbs up button. And if you want to see more, well, I think you know what to do. We're about to head into the tour, so I'm going to shut up now, but thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!